I'm gonna steal your sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drinks while eat and cry. I'll never shoot up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drinks while eat and cry. I'll never shoot up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
Yeah.
Daddy,
Oh,
Daddy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Daddy.
Oh, yeah,
Beautiful.
Daddy.
Yeah, are we so live, Daddy?
Daddy was so
We so live, Daddy.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 13 of season 2 of Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up here on the Houseboat. Tommy Lee Jones live on
Yeah.
YouTube every Tuesday, almost
YouTube.
Tuesdays, whenever we don't take off or
Maybe
whether.
Facebook as well soon.
Yeah, maybe Facebook. We found this thing
Yeah.
that maybe we'll be simultaneously broadcasting on Facebook.
And maybe I'll set up just a Twitch channel for this.
You know, if
Yeah,
you're
we're
listening
gonna go
to
on
us on Facebook,
multiple
fuck you.
platforms.
I mean, you're not listening to us
If you're
on
listening to
Facebook
us on
right
Facebook
now.
right now, who is streaming this
Yeah.
onto Facebook? You
Who?
guys
Who be
are.
doing that?
I mean, they might be watching it. Can you watch it from the link I posted? I don't know. I think it
I
just
think it
immediately
directs
sends
you
you.
to
Yeah,
it.
it directs you.
Maybe.
So
I don't know actually how that works.
if you're watching it on Facebook right now, I don't know what the fuck you did, but good for you. Good for you.
Good on you.
You went through a lot of work to pirate something we're giving you for free. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, welcome, everybody. As always, as I was saying, live on YouTube every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Justin Olimpedo.
Hello.
How you doing, brother?
Good.
Good. How's your
Yeah.
day been?
All right, man.
Not too bad?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. How's
My
the
mom
weather been
stopped by.
treating
It
you?
was good.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
How's
nice.
mom doing? Mom's
Good,
doing all
man.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey, is that who brought the...
I mean, it was right on the counter.
There'll be a break. We got a long song for the first break, so,
Yeah.
you know, it's almost a record-breaking... actually, it might be a record-breaking guest song length
Okay.
on this one. I'm going to have to read the name of the band 48 times before I say it live.
Yeah. Probably.
But yeah. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us here or in the future. You're listening on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever else that we might be hosted upon. Brought to you by the wonderful Moot.tv.
Yeah.
And joining us, in addition to Justin being here, as always, we have Mr. Zachary. Stormy.
So I was rushing because the top of this can was filthy.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Filthy, is it? Are they dirty?
Yeah, real
All
dirty.
right,
I was
well,
cleaning mine up.
Let me look at this. Now, I mean, I'm assuming...
How old are these?
I don't know, man.
Oh, wow, that is gross.
Oh, Justin, quick, can you just turn the input down a little bit? We're clipping a tiny bit.
For what?
Oh, this...
That
That is a lot of dirt and dust and residue coming off the top of this can here.
Yeah.
My black shirt is turning brown. Now, we went to...
Oh, God, it's bad.
Is it? Good.
Great.
We went to
I think it's the first thing that we've actually thought was going to be bad.
Yeah, no, I thought this was going to be terrible. Very bad. I didn't realize it was a Bud Light product until afterwards. I saw it sitting on the shelf. It said Mixed Tail with 2 X's, MIXX Tail, TAIL, Firewalker. It's a premium red hot cinnamon apple cocktail, and it's 8%. I did not realize it was 8%.
Right.
And now I'm thinking maybe the mishap in the store might have been a little bit more accurate.
Yeah,
now,
that these were... Well, why don't you tell them the story?
So basically what happened is we're buying some, beer. I get a Sly Fox variety pack. Justin gets some Imperial
I don't know what that's supposed to taste like.
And I also get a 4-pack of this Mixed Tail 8% Firewalker. And I go up to the counter. I put the variety pack, and I put this 4-pack down.
Yeah.
And they start ringing me up, and I look, and before I could ask for anything else, I'm rung up for like $50 or $40-something. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I look, and I'm like, something's ringing up at $32.50. And I went, oh, like, I don't want that, then. I'm not buying that. What was that? Like, what was that? And the guy was like, and he points to this, and I went, it's Bud Light. Like, it's Bud Light, Mike's Hard Lemonade, whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know what this is. I still have not sipped it based on the 2 of your reactions.
Yeah, I mean...
But it came up at $32.50. $32.50. I look at the guy. I was like, fuck that. Fuck you. Fuck this whole establishment. I'm not buying this for $32.50.
Right.
And then somebody else working there went, no, it's got to be the case price. So
the first thing that you saw and pointed out to me was the fact that it was Bud Light.
Well, that was after I looked at it for a little bit. I realized it was Bud Light. I just saw Mixed Tail and Firewalker.
Right.
And then I went, holy shit, it's Bud Light.
I tell you what, after a few sips in, I'm liking it.
Yeah, because it's Bud Light.
Oh my god!
Immediately, first sip.
Oh no,
just wait.
Sweet.
Well,
hold on, it is super sweet for some reason.
Very sweet,
and you get. It's not your traditional like cinnamon flavor.
This
it's like the red hot candy.
But it's like they tried to make.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
It's supposed to be an apple
cider.
cider.
Just a red hot cinnamon.
Oh yeah,
red
so then you're definitely getting
apple
that apple.
cocktail.
That's what that sweetness is.
It tastes like somebody took an Angry Orchard
apple.
and dropped a bunch of the red hot candies in the bottom of it. Basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now,
first
sip.
Put a dash of hot sauce in this.
Ooh,
maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe that might
make
work.
a Bloody Mary out of this thing. I don't think anybody's gonna enjoy that.
Happen, dude. It's too sweet. You know what? Bake that
that's
apple
really hard.
pie with this shit.
All right, second sip. Not as terrible. You could use it as a nice reduction. Cook for some
your dessert,
apples in this
for your fresh. For your fresh ice cream that you just made.
Yes, if you want to ruin your fresh ice cream, you can pour
with
this
all that expensive vanilla bean.
It. Oh yeah, just ruin that expensive vanilla bean with this shit.
If you don't know, vanilla beans are insanely expensive.
Yeah, that's why I just buy them already crushed up into my ice creams.
Exactly.
That's why I just
buy. It's only $3 then.
It's only $3 then. That's it. Oh, so the cold's been kind of hitting us hard up until the last 2 days. It had us not having an episode last week because we had snow.
Plus, I was sick from.
Yeah, you were sick. You were doing not so great, and then Zach, I came up last Thursday or whatever to hang out, and both of you were kind of out of it at that point.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, dude.
Yeah, both got hit hard. I had like a little sniffle at one point. But I lucked out.
I'm still real snotty today.
Real snotty?
Yeah.
It's just that time of the year,
The worst part about it was the pressure in my head. Like, I couldn't hear correctly. Like, I couldn't get my ears to pop correctly. Like, it would
have been a fun episode to do if you couldn't hear correctly.
Well, I mean, I could hear, but it was just so pressurized it sounded like I couldn't hear. You know
Everything
what I mean?
sounded like a little distant on you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit fucking sucks.
Distant cousins.
But the last 2 days, we've started to get a little bit of what you would call a heat wave, because it was, 55, 60 degrees.
Yeah. Today I was working in the garage in just a t-shirt.
Just a t-shirt. No pants?
No pants.
No underwears?
Well, I had cowboy boots and a t-shirt.
Cowboy boots and a t-shirt, just hanging down. Just dripping
hanging
that
down,
dick.
working on a dump truck.
Oh, working on a dump truck with just a t-shirt. You're Winnie the Poohing a fucking dump truck. That's a good mental image to have.
I did say that today. Something was fucked up.
It was Winnie the Pooh.
We thought like something
Did you try
was
to go
fucked up,
through a little circle window?
I just went, oh bother.
Oh bother.
Like, we forgot to do this.
Oh bother. Oh, that's fucking great. Yeah, but it's that time of the year where you get that random couple of nice days that trick you into...
And then it's right back in the fucking
it's right back to cold.
Fucking cold.
And it's going to be fucking raining and then snowing.
Here.
Yeah, you guys lost heat the worst night of it all.
I mean, that usually happens because the tank's outside. So we only have oil heat in this house. There's no fucking baseboard, electric, nothing. It's just oil. So at one point, I was still awake, 3:30 in the morning, go figure. And...
shock.
I just hear the fucking oil start running out, and I'm like, motherfucker, I look at the temp, and it's negative 6 degrees.
Jesus Christ.
But it felt like negative 14.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude.
Now, you were awake. Zach was asleep at this point, I'm assuming, because it was 3:30 in the morning. Correct. And then you said you spent a couple hours trying to get it all up and running and get it fixed. How long were you without actual heat?
Till 10:30.
Till 10:30. So through the coldest part of the night.
Yeah.
And now, were you outside trying to fix it? Were you inside, downstairs?
I was downstairs in the basement.
Downstairs? How cold is it in the basement? Is it any warmer when there's no heat?
10 degrees colder.
10 degrees colder.
Than here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you had a good couple of hours just hanging out in the basement.
Oh, I wasn't down there the whole fucking time.
No, I figured you were. I figured you just moved in.
Just the whole time, yeah.
You just lived down there. You made some friends with the rats.
Some chairs down.
Yeah.
Just hanging out,
just
playing
hung
cards.
Out.
The best part was, that was like... right when Justin was getting over his shit a little bit, and right when I was in the worst of me being sick. Yeah. So I woke up to go to work at 6:30, walk downstairs, there's no heat. Like, Justin, the heat doesn't work. And he's like, I know, man, I know. And I was just like, fuck this, I'm not going to work either. And I walked back to my room and I went straight back to sleep.
Yeah, dude.
Once I woke up, Justin had the heat back on, so thank you.
That's good.
Man.
I had one night last week.
I got it back going as soon as I fucking could.
Yeah. I had one night last week that we had bought pellets, but I had put them, all in the back of the Jeep, and then Alyssa went up to go to like a concert with a friend and wound up staying at her friend's house. And so all the pellets were in the back of her Jeep up in Scranton, and I'm at home. And we ran out of pellets, and I was like, all right, I guess this is the night that I'm just going to spend as long as I can at the bar all night long. I think that was the night I hit up Zach, and we went down to Main Street, got some dinner, and then went over to Jock and Jill's. And then when I got home...
Jock and Jill's?
Not Jock and Jill's, sorry, Floods. We went over to Floods.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking that we can go to some place that doesn't exist anymore. Really, for the hideaway. That would be it. Yeah. But we went over to Floods, got some food, and then went over to Cinder, karaoke, and then I went back home, and I walked in, and it was probably... maybe 10 degrees warmer inside the house than it was outside the house. It was fucking terrible that week. And
it's always a weird feeling that when you open up your refrigerator, it's warmer in the refrigerator.
You open that up and just heat up the house. Just heat up the house with the
weird,
cold air from your refrigerator. Exactly. The freezer's doing a better job of warming shit up.
Yep.
Oh. All right, so this past weekend, two big days this weekend. One doesn't get as much attention as the other, so I'm going to start with that first. The first is Saturday was Groundhog Day.
Right.
Yeah. It was Groundhog Day.
What was the outcome?
The outcome was he did whatever he did to see that we are going to have a short winter. We'll have an early spring. That's what the outcome. Did they say
that last year?
They did say that last year. Now, what I found out statistically in the last 20 years, if you look at how many times the silly groundhog has said it's going to be an early spring or a long winter, whatever, and how many times they were right, I think it's almost zero. Like maybe it's like 1 or 2 in the last 20 years. But the more accurate detector for are we going to have a long winter or a short winter is if the Patriots make the Super Bowl, we have a long winter.
God
Every
damn
single
it,
time the Patriots have won the Super Bowl in the
Fuck
last 20 years.
even more, dude.
One was in last year.
We're in. We're in.
Last year,
just
yeah.
That they went to,
dude,
and then we had a long winter.
snowstorm in fucking March.
Yeah. Dude, it was snowing up until April. It was snowing up until April last year.
Fuck the Patriots,
on
dude.
all levels. On all levels. So, before we get to that and how much fuck the Patriots, Saturday was Groundhog Day, and I got to work, and I kind of thought that maybe this would be the case, that Groundhog Day would be on TV somewhere during the day.
Okay.
So I get everything, stocked and ready to run, and we're open for business. And I start looking at the TV, seeing if there's any sports that I should have queued up for later in the day. And then I come across this channel called Pop, which is, I don't know, P-O-P, Pop. And
Dirty Pop.
Dirty Pop.
Copyright
strike. That's all we can do. But they were playing Groundhog Day on repeat all day long.
Okay.
So I put it on the one TV and turned the volume up because nobody's there listening to music yet. I'm like, I'll just watch the movie.
Hell yeah.
And then I'm walking around looking at the other TVs going, what else can we put on? And then I went, fuck it. I realized that Groundhog Day was going to be
all channels?
It was going to be on all day. It was on repeat. It started at like 7 in the morning and it went until 11:30 at night. And I got there at 11, so I said, fuck it. Every single TV is going to have Groundhog Day on.
Hell yeah.
We're going to turn up the volume. It's going to be on repeat all day long. And I had one guy who stayed long enough to fulfill the dream that I was hoping that I was going to be able to instill some slight bit of insanity into somebody by playing this movie over and over again on repeat. A movie that in and of itself repeats scenes over and over again. And then now at a bar where people are drinking, one guy sat there to see one scene 3 times. And by the time he saw the scene, and it's the scene where Bill Murray gets out at the movie theater, and he's dressed like old Wild West style, and he's call me Bronco. That scene, he goes, all right, 3 times I've seen him say, call me Bronco. I'm done. And he got up, paid his tab, was like, I can't do it anymore, and left. And I was like, I'm not trying to drive people away from the business I work at, but I was trying to drive some people kind of insane.
Right.
Kind of insane. And I left work.
It's no different than fucking Christmas Story on all day.
True. Well, on Christmas Day, when you're on TBS or TNT or both, when they play it on repeat, you start kind of like or tuning in at different points. You go, wait, what part of the movie are we at? I've already seen this. Things repeat. But with Groundhog Day, it's so much more built to do that.
Yeah.
That if you have it on repeat and you're not really fully paying attention throughout the day, you're just kind of looking over and going, wait, what the hell? Did I already see? Wait, how many times have I seen this? Like, what the fuck's going on over here? What the hell? What the hell? Also, a great thing, subtitles. Subtitles are an amazing thing that, I don't know, if everybody enjoys.
Some of those channels that they run subtitles on make 0 sense.
Some of the subtitles don't work.
We noticed that when we were sitting outside the bar the one day.
Yeah.
The subtitles were real. What was it?
It was for another show or something?
No, it was like the news or some shit.
Yeah, and it was just all
made no
mangled.
fucking sense at all, dude. It was just gibberish.
Somebody was just drunk behind the keyboard, just going to town.
Or the computer just...
It was probably an automatic,
they just... One little piece got switched over, and all of your N's becomes R's, and all your R's becomes G's, and all of that. Yeah.
YouTube's is pretty good. The auto-generated on YouTube, I find it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Well, what I realized with Groundhog Day is I've watched this movie, I will say, of like kind of conservative, I've probably seen it 50 times in my life. I've probably seen it start to finish.
It is a great movie.
50 times. Since I was a kid, because that and Hook were 2 movies that I put on repeat growing up all of the time. And so I would say I've seen it that many times. And on Saturday, I caught so many jokes that now I can't remember, but there were so many jokes that just went right over my head. And having the subtitles on and actually understanding what his delivery was intending to be, and not just going off the nuance and the feeling of Bill Murray. Because for me growing up, it was just kind of the persona of Bill Murray. I love the Ghostbusters.
Sure.
I think on the show before, I've admitted that I had a hard time differentiating between Robin Williams and Bill Murray for a couple of years there. Up until I was like 10, 12 years old, or maybe even older, I was kind of confused as to where one began and the other one ended.
Right.
But
and why my pee-pee got hard when I thought about either of them.
It was always a query that I could never find the answer to.
We put on Groundhog's Day. Next thing you know, I had a little groundhog thumping around my pants.
Yeah, just prairie dogging out the front of my pants.
I was shit myself a groundhog.
Shit myself.
Would you go through a groundhog? Like, would you embrace a Groundhog Day until as long as you once you realize what it was?
Well, this is the conversation I had with somebody on Saturday. They say, I mean, there was a guy who did the math in early 2011, 2010, something like that, and wrote an article about how long Bill Murray was actually trapped within that day, how many times he went, and his estimate is 35 plus years that he is redoing the same day over and over and over again. Oh, so it's
35 plus years.
35 plus years that he is repeating this day, and he kind of bases it on the idea that it takes apparently 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. By the end of the movie, he's a world-renowned level pianist and an ice sculpturist.
True.
All of these things that you would not be able to do or know. And plus, the amount of things that he memorizes within the town, how many days he would have to repeat just to do
all of
the
that
bank
shit,
robbery. When he walks up to and counts gust of wind, quarters, walks across the street, takes the bag, and walks away. To do that, how many times did he do that and get caught? How many times did he sit there and just watch it happen over and over again and count everything out? He was in there for a long time. Now, the question that we were asking on Saturday was, how long are you in there before you try to kill yourself? Like, how many times do you repeat before you go, let me see if I can drive this truck off the side of a cliff, and what happens?
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure he does that. Well,
he does that fairly early on in the movie.
He dies early by accident.
Yes.
So, I don't know, man. Like, if you woke up and you realized that your days were repeating.
Yeah.
Without dying or anything like that. I don't think the first thing I would do is run and grab a gun to see if that was going to be...
but
if I'm going to wake back
up. How many years would you repeat the same day? How many times, because 1 year is 365 times. So, 35 times 365.
Big number.
It's a huge fucking number. It's like 90,000 or something like that. 9 million. I have no idea. I don't know how to do 900,000. Something like that. It's got a 9, I'm sure.
Probably in there.
I know it has a lot to do with your personal psyche, your personal mental well-being, but at a certain point, he, in the movie,
he doesn't age at all like you are.
No, he doesn't age. Yeah, he doesn't age. But he starts to see himself as a god. He starts to see himself as a deity. He's unstoppable. He cannot be harmed. And then eventually, because of that, you're going to try to, push the boundaries.
Honestly, the real question is, in your everyday, like when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't notice for a little bit of time.
True, and for him, it always
unless
triggers
something specific happened
alarm.
Because of that day.
Yeah.
So, let's just say it's a Monday. I'm gonna wake up, probably come to my computer, play video games for a little while.
So you
get
might
some
repeat.
Work done,
you might
go watch TV.
Repeat a day a couple of times before you even realize that you're repeating it.
Like I might laugh at something being said the same, and I'm like, all right, I get, You
think you might just have deja vu for a little bit there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But if you were in that situation where you were doing something for work specifically,
and if you got
woken up every single day with an alarm, that was an old-time alarm. But if it was just
a day off where you do something you normally do, you might not realize that for a couple of days.
Yeah, you might go, oh, wait, I don't have to... Nobody's called me to come in to do anything at work, or, I keep having the same phone call with my mom every single day.
You call somebody up... You're like, you guys haven't called me in a couple of days. And they're like, it's Monday.
It's Monday. We talked to you last night. Like, I just saw you.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know how I would fare. I don't know how I would fare in that situation of repeating the days over and over again. I think I would have a lot of fun with it for a while.
I think I would get to a point, if that happened to me, probably 6 months in, where I'd just wake up, kill myself. Wake up, kill myself. Wake up, kill myself.
For 6 more months
straight? How many...
until it either stops or you just get tired of it, and then
you're like, okay, I'm gonna actually have to go.
Because immediately, wake up, jump straight out the building on second story onto my neck, just bam, dead.
Now,
wake up again, bam, dead.
Now, would you stop doing that if, say, you ran off the top of the building you were staying in, and this is like a 2-3 story like house, and you didn't die upon impact, and you had to spend the rest of the day dealing with that pain until 6 o'clock the next morning?
Ooh, when you found that out the first time, probably not.
Would you stop repeating over and over again?
It depends.
And trying to kill yourself.
Because I mean, if you shoot yourself in the head,
yeah, you got a pretty good chance that you're just done. You're just done.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's like today, I'm going to try and
you're going to be creative, right?
Why the fuck not?
After a while, you're going to be creative about it.
Yeah, you'd probably go more the superhero route. Yeah. They're like, okay, fuck it.
Well, he jumps off the top of the building.
Yeah, you know.
I would try, probably find a local company that does parachute or jumping. Just jump out of an airplane without a parachute.
Now, here's
why not?
So, what happens if you stay up until the next day?
Well, they do that in the one scene. He tries to get.
I think he wakes up. Or he just
you wake up immediately at that next. So if you were to stay up until 5:59, the second it turns 6, you would wake up fully well rested, like you slept the entire night, because you were waking up.
I would never sleep then.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
And maybe that's how he became also a master at some of that shit.
Yeah, if he realizes he doesn't have to sleep,
he's not tired.
He can make it 24 hours. Drink enough coffee,
is it 24? Yeah, he gets up at
6 a.m. every single day, and then it'd be 6 a.m. because they stay up. He and the girl stay up. Andy McDowell's character, and they stay up, and it turns midnight. And she goes, "We're still here," and he goes, "Oh, it's 6 a.m." And she thinks that he's like trying to pull one over on her. But
James said he would do a lot of reckless shit if he knew he couldn't die.
Dude,
and that's the GTA. That's like that GTA mentality when you're running around. And you're like. Yeah, even if I die, I respawn, so I'm just going to kill as much shit as I can and see
crazy.
As long as I can go.
Just keep going full nutso. Full nutso.
Yeah.
So I think I would like to think that I would mirror what he does, have some form of redemption at the end of all of it. But I think I would probably just become like a crazed recluse, like not being able to age or grow hair or anything like that. I would be as close to a person on a desert island as you could possibly be.
I mean, you would come out of that completely
just be disheveled.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, there's enough stuff that I'm into to keep myself busy. Like I could watch every single movie that's ever been fucking made. Yeah. Just because I can do that.
Yep, and I just sit
here. And
that
gives me so many fucking days until I'm like, okay, well, that's done.
Yeah.
Now what?
How much can I jerk off?
Exactly. You try to break world records. And then the other side of it, I mean, which obviously Bill Murray's character in the movie, he takes advantage of it. How many women can I get to sleep with me in this town? Like, I've got a small town, a small population of women that I find attractive. I'm going to try to just work my way through them, and there's multiple scenes where he is manipulating the situation so he can, hook up with a chick the next day and just planting information and learning information about people. Yep. And it's kind of like maybe it's a little evil, but it's what you probably would do.
Everything, man.
You're gonna
hit every.
You're gonna be evil. You're gonna be like he does at the end, where he tries to help save the old man. And then kind of makes that a big thing.
More or less because if I knew that was going to repeat...
Yeah.
You could do the same scenario in multiple ways. Like, just the bank robbery thing. Like, he could trip somebody and it would change the fucking outcome from... You know what I mean? So, like, going through every variable, and that would be a fun thing at times.
That would be a weird study that you could do is every single day just slightly change one thing that you did from the day before and see how much the butterfly effect actually... Like, you can't, justify your results when you come out of this loop, but for you, this is a proven thing. Yeah.
Because it's completely an accurate scientific study at that point. It's the same thing happening over and over. You're the variable that's different.
Yeah. Now, I love the movie. I love all the theories, everything that goes along with it, and hypothesizing over and over again over what I would do in that situation is something I've done since I was a kid, and I love it. Something else I've done since I was a kid is watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And this year, despite the fact that I already knew I wasn't going to be happy, because I figured the Patriots were going to win because it's the Patriots, they're going into the Super Bowl. Chances are they're going to win. That was the worst entertainment situation in TV history.
I was at work
in
for the
recent
whole
memory
thing.
To me.
Working in the kitchen.
Boring. Yeah, I was bartending.
And I did not hear any noise from a single fucking
it.
person.
Yeah.
For anything.
It was god fucking awful. Now, Zach, you actually got to watch it like as a fan watch it. You weren't working, right?
No, we had, my mom made a bunch of food. That was the best part of the night. My mom made buffalo chicken dip, and my dad made some crazy, like, he hollowed out a French bread without cutting it and filled it full of, like, chicken and cheese. It was crazy. Jesus. I don't know how he did it. Like,
chicken and cheese.
Like, he never, opened the bread. Awesome, it was just, like, bored a hole through it and filled it full of chicken and cheese. And then we had, like, sauce dip it in. And, we had gone ice fishing the day before, so we fried a shitload of fucking fish. Like, fresh fish pulled straight out of the ice. Like,
hell yeah.
So we had a really great meal.
Nice smorgasbord.
And we ate most of the food before the game. So we were all like, everyone was excited and happy, like, yeah, we're gonna watch a game, had some beers, ate a bunch of food, and then, you know, we all sat down to watch a game, and then, like, it was just like, slowly. Nate fell asleep by the second quarter. Like, just like
by the time the second quarter came around, I had started to brew a pot of coffee at work because I was literally. I mean, I had rested. I was not tired going into work whatsoever. It is Super Bowl Sunday. I expected it to be slow at the bar because everybody goes to a house because they can make a shitload of food, or you go to, you know, a friend's party, whatever. You're not going out generally. I've done it a handful of times, you know, where we go out when different bars have had buffets and stuff along that line.
That's still a party, though.
It's still a party,
but it's like a special event.
But most bars nowadays don't really go all out. I remember Jock and Jill's back in the day. There were like big buffets.
Well, halftime buffet.
Yeah, the halftime buffet was
huge.
Even
when I was
prizes,
there,
giveaways,
we did big stuff all the time.
Yeah, door prizes for everything. This year,
it's
everybody
just more cost effective for them. They have to pay so much money to have the fucking shit on their television. Well, I mean, I guess not for the Super Bowl.
Not for the Super Bowl. That's the one
Super Bowl
game.
Is pretty much free.
It's free.
True.
You can stream it online for free.
True.
But for a restaurant, it doesn't make sense to run a huge special or to put a big spread out.
Most people are staying at their
people are staying at home or their friends, their families, exactly. And we had, I'll say, an average of about 5 to 8 people in the bar at any point all night long that night. And we just had our normal, you know, wing special, beer special. We had like a special price, I guess, on the draft and a couple other things, but didn't really go all out. Nobody wants to go out for that. It is, I think, even more so nowadays because it is known as the night that you're guaranteed to get a DUI if you're drinking and driving on that night. It is the #1 night of the year. It's that, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and New Year's are the
don't drink and drive, you idiots.
Yeah, don't drink and drive, you idiots. Also, especially on those days. Just especially avoid those days. But it was just a boring fucking game. Like, for the first quarter, I went, oh, this is a good defensive game. Brady threw a pick. There was a fucking, he got sacked. It's, you know, 0-0, 3-0 then. And then at one point, 3-3. So it ends the third fucking quarter at 3-3, going into the fourth, and then the game winds up ending at, it was 13-3?
13-3,
yeah.
13-3. And that's absurd, especially if you look at the season that the Rams had. They averaged between like 25 and 30 points a game.
Yeah.
They were one of the highest, if not the highest scoring team in the league. And there were a couple of people, and this is something I was looking up earlier, different bets that people played. One of the best bets that was placed, and one of the best results of a bet ever, is a guy bet $250 that the Rams were only going to score 3 points, and they gave him 400-1 odds.
Jesus!
Oh, wow.
Wait, how much did he bet?
He bet $250, so he paid out $100,000.
Wow!
That's
for
crazy.
betting that they would only score 3 points. Now you don't know. Maybe he bet $250 that they would only score 0 through 15 points. Like maybe he did that, and then the odds just were in his favor on that specific one. But can you imagine $100,000? That was probably the most exciting thing that happened to the actual game for anybody.
people made money.
People made money. The Patriots got rings, all that stuff. They get their parade.
Well, they were stretching it so hard. You see the whole SpongeBob thing?
No.
Well, they did that in the middle of the halftime. I'll be honest with you,
I didn't see anything. I just saw some ads
for the memers, dude. They even tried to just bring the memers in.
Yep.
Oh, God.
They did a SpongeBob,
kids that are into memes and shit, like the whole world's into memes, but the main people that
aren't really watching the Super Bowl.
They don't give a fuck about the Super Bowl.
No, and then we'll get into this a little bit more when we talk about the song that we wrote for this week in a little bit. But the big kind of shittiest...
I want to make chicken, though, dude.
What was that? James saying...
He said both teams were playing like they knew they were getting sent to the White House for a fucking McChicken.
Well, you know, it's funny.
I was like, I'll take a McChicken, dude. I feel like they were happy with that. We talked about
We did talk about that. I feel like those kids were probably stoked about getting free food on any level. But Trump already rescinded the offer before the Super Bowl even happened. He's not inviting them to the Super Bowl because of last year. Because of last year, and
he said "fuck you."
He most likely just doesn't want to go through the ego, damage that can happen of being, jilted again.
If the government hates football, is it now punk to like football?
No.
It almost is, though.
No, it's like almost punk to like the government at this point. That's really what it is. It's punk to like the... We went over this as well, I think, at one point. It's punk to be responsible, and it's punk to be into the government nowadays. It's
punk to
be if you want to go against the norm,
it's also very punk to be... consider or notice that there's only two genders.
That is true. That's very
before
punk.
It was
that's a very punk thing.
It was very punk to be the opposite.
Yeah.
Now it's punk to be.
Now it's
conservative punk.
That's what
conservative punk.
That's what it's turned into. Everything. It's a pendulum. Everything swings back and forth. It used to be far left. Now it's far right, and you're gonna go back and forth. Now, aside from what we'll get into about the halftime show, I did want to talk about a couple of the other disappointments. I would say were the commercials.
You know what? That was the first thing I asked because I did not see anything.
Yeah. And even in years that I didn't give a shit, they were the most depressing commercials this year.
He said an Audi ad was the only thing.
I don't even remember the Audi ad.
So he goes, it's like he's walking through like a cornfield, a guy, and comes to like a picturesque barn.
Okay.
And the guy at the door, he says, "Grandpa?" And he hugs him. He's like, "I haven't seen you in so long." Grandpa takes him into the barn, opens the door, and there's a brand new, the all-electric Audi. That's how they were showing. But, he gets in the car, and it's this beautiful, brand new all-electric Audi in a barn in a cornfield. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Then you're thinking, this guy must be in heaven. He must be dead.
Yeah.
That's why it's a cornfield.
But it's also heaven.
It's Iowa.
And then he's sitting in the seat, and all of a sudden he gets pulled back into the seat a few times, and then it cuts to he's at a desk and somebody's giving him the Heimlich maneuver, and he spits out a peanut, and it's the commercial was he died and had a death experience. Then he went to heaven, saw his dead grandpa,
and an Audi was,
and there was a brand new Audi. But then he they revive him and he comes back and
Jesus
that his death.
Yeah, I did not see that. I did not see that. I saw some commercial.
Everyone erupted. It happened. I think it was a first quarter commercial. Okay. And everyone that was in the room, because we were still into the game
at that point.
It hadn't gone sour
yet. Into submission of
so,
not wanting to watch anymore.
It was still the Super Bowl, and that ad, and the whole room erupted.
Yeah.
And that was probably the high point of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I saw that commercial, the 100-year one.
Yeah.
I did see that one.
That one was good, yeah.
That was a good commercial.
I don't think I saw that one either.
That's the one where it's the whole football.
Back and forth in between the kitchen and the front, so I didn't get to watch it.
It's all old football players.
Okay, and then the little girls in there as well. Yeah. So, okay, I did see that. That one wasn't terrible. There was a commercial that was for Planters, the peanut commercial, that has Charlie Sheen and Alex Rodriguez in it. And basically the Peanut Mobile and Mr. Peanut go flying by. Charlie Sheen sitting on the side of the road on a park bench or whatever, waiting for a bus, I guess.
Right.
And he goes, they think I'm nuts. And that's his only line. It's his only line. And I think A-Rod takes a handful of nuts to the mouth like he usually does. and that was the the most like celebrity riddled commercial that I really saw. But the one that jumped out to me that I was thoroughly confused as to what I was watching was the Burger King commercial.
I have not seen this.
Now the Burger King
Andy
commercial
Warhol thing.
is Andy Warhol opening a Burger King bag, like a retro Burger King bag because it was filmed
80s?
in like 81.
Okay.
And he opens up a Burger King bag. He takes out the Burger King burger. He puts a bunch of ketchup all over the burger, and then he eats the burger, takes like a small bite, and it just says "Eat like Andy." And that was the end of the commercial.
Did you look?
I looked it up. Yeah. So there was.
I knew it from Good Mythical Morning.
Really, the documentary.
No, GMM on.
Oh, they do the peanut butter
beans too.
And beans.
Red did the beans.
That's
and so
oh my
in my
God.
mind I was like, but like I had to look it up. Like the history.
So their
of, like,
whole thing is an homage to his.
Yeah,
commercial.
but I didn't realize until Burger King told me.
Now Burger King, the scene that they show of Andy Warhol is taken directly from a documentary called 66 Scenes of the United States or something along those lines.
66 Scenes of America?
66 Scenes of America.
Okay.
And it's from 1982, and it's just somebody that did like 66 minute, 2-minute long scenes.
States.
But they're just like of a very specific thing happening.
Okay.
So the one was Andy Warhol sits down, opens up a Burger King burger,
So it's like
and eats
Samsara.
it. Yeah,
Just
kind of
like
in that feeling. Yeah,
like
just a lot of like different things happening
things
around the country. So that commercial really, I think, was the one that kind of just like threw me for a loop the most. But the movie preview that I was the most pleased with. We got an Avengers one, we got a Captain Marvel one. Those are all cool.
I didn't see the Avengers one.
It's fine.
It's a good trailer.
It looks. You're gonna see it in 2 months and whatever. It's great. The greatest trailer that premiered.
Can I just hype this up a little bit more?
Yes.
Because I will say it's a really good trailer. I just watched it.
Yes.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, and keep in
Wait,
mind.
Is that really what it is?
Yes.
I said that as a joke.
And Shaw.
Keep in mind that the people that have done this are also are going on to do
like
Endgame.
Yeah, people that have directed Fast and Furious movies have gone on to make huge.
Yeah, they're doing
films.
Endgame, and they're also doing
Highlander. Ooh,
fucking Men in Black.
Men in Black. Yeah, the new Men in Black International.
So it all makes sense.
So it makes sense that yeah, but Hobbs and Shaw is Fast and the Furious 9 or 8 or whatever it is going to be. I think it's Fast and Furious 9. It is Fast and the Furious universe without Vin Diesel or Paul Walker because he did. Well, he's alive in the movies. He's still alive.
Right.
But he's not there. So they took the two guys that have at least one of them have been in every Fast and the Furious at this point.
No, not every.
Vin Diesel's in Tokyo Drift. For about 30 seconds, he's in Tokyo Drift.
I thought you meant The Rock and...
Oh, no. I'm saying they took out one of the two guys. Paul Walker and Vin Diesel have done every single movie. Yeah. And they took them out.
He's also directed one of them.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did direct. And then the funny thing is Vin Diesel and The Rock hate each other. They don't like to shoot scenes together. They will shoot on separate days and probably cost a shitload more money in the budget for that reason. But they hate each other, and Vin Diesel kind of owns the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Sure.
And he's a producer on it. And they basically looked at what would be way better than just doing another Fast and Furious.
Make more money than you?
With you in it? Let's just put The Rock and Jason Statham together.
By the way, we're not... your part's not in here.
Dude.
We had to cut it out for budget.
But this movie...
He's gonna show up at the end.
He could show up throughout it at some point. I'm sure he'll be in there, but he's not the star.
Right.
And so I guess in that way, for the first time since Tokyo Drift, one of the two of the main guys are not the star.
If it was like a Stan Lee cameo,
ooh,
and like the action was happening,
and he just walked by,
and it's just like Vin Diesel on the street going like, oh man, look at that.
Car goes by real quick, and he's just like, oh, 66 Mustang.
Yeah, then it cuts away.
And it cuts away.
The only Vin
That's
Diesel
it.
scene.
Yeah. I'd be alright with that in most any movie.
I want to open another beer, and this has the special top.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we are drinking the Sly Fox, which has the wonderful.
And we do
cans.
have
I want to get a good
Yeah. All right. So let's check out this old fashioned. You open the entire top of your can type of top.
Yeah.
See how this sounds.
Oh, that was good.
Ooh, that's a higher pitched pop at the beginning there.
Yeah.
Now we got another comment in the chat from James O. It looks like
he says, "I'm pretty sure Charlie Sheen got an A bomb
from AIDS Rod
from someone
from AIDS Rod, probably an AIDS bomb from AIDS Rod."
Wow!
Oh my God!
Wow.
Gotta love John Sterling calling calls in baseball, and
Yeah.
then mocking him relentlessly for forever. So back to Hobbs and Shaw. This movie, it does something that. I was curious as to where they were going to
sort
go.
of got away from the fast part of it.
Well, it's just
Sort of?
Furious now.
Is it Furious?
No, no, I'm just saying that it just looks Furious.
Didn't they call one Furious?
One was called Fast and Furious. One was called Furious 5.
Okay.
Fast 8. Who knows? Right. Nobody really knows all the titles to the movies. But the original, if you look back to the first Fast and the Furious movie, it is a story that is the story of Point Break. Right. In the world of cars. That's how they sold the movie when they were selling it. They went, it's Point Break with cars.
But we like cars.
Yeah, instead of being...
tuner culture, like, they basically invented that. They were like,
pretty much.
Here's some shit that people will like if you let us make this movie. They made that movie and boom! Everybody had a fucking tuner car.
Yeah.
Sure.
And everybody hung outside of the Burger King or the Kmart in their town and showed them all off to everybody while me and my friends parking lot moshed across the street from them mocking them.
Dude, that was a big part of my childhood, honestly, though.
Getting mocked by guys parking lot moshing?
Yeah, I was like a car dude, you know what I mean? Me and all my friends, we had fucking souped up cars, and we all had fucking colored spark plug
How
wires
heavily influenced by Fast and the Furious
that's
were
because
most people?
of Fast and the Furious.
I hated when the first movie came out, second movie, third movie. I thought they were just dumb. I liked Point Break. I saw the first one. I went, this is just Point Break ripped off.
Right.
I don't need to see any more of this. But now we have gone from the original, which I will now look back at and go, you know what?
Are
like
you going
Point
to the
Break.
theater for this? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Oh, I always wait. I don't know exactly what you're saying. I go to see every movie since Fast 4. I've seen them all in theater since then.
I have not.
I haven't even seen them all.
I have seen all of them. I do not watch the first 3. I do not watch the first 3. But 4 on are literally my favorite movies because if you look at the universe that they created in 1, there's this FBI agent who winds up going rogue and a bunch of small-time car thieves that now, 8 movies later, are dealing with, in one form or another, not them specifically, but the franchise that they've created, are dealing with Idris Elba, the superhuman. Yeah, he's superhuman. They went from guys stealing GTs and neons and dealing with the fucking...
Well, no, they're still stereos.
Oh, they just stole the stereos in the first one? They weren't even stealing the cars?
They were robbing semi-trucks.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's
how long it's been since I've seen the first one.
So they had fast cars, so they would roll up on the semi-trucks and then, like, jump in the semis, steal the semis that were full of wherever Crutchfield orders of, like, high-end car stereos.
Yeah.
And then sell those car stereos to their other car buddies.
See, I didn't realize... Okay, I did not remember that is the plot line of the first one.
They race the cars, like, you put up your car...
Yeah.
Like, that's your ticket in. If you lose the race, you lose your car.
They've gotten more and more ridiculous to the point where they introduced The Rock, and in the movie, the last one or the second to last one...
What was the one where they're in Mexico or whatever? Not Mexico,
but they're in Cuba at some point. And he races, like, the old shitty car against the guy with the hot, like, totally, like, hooked up vehicle.
Yeah.
But in that one is where The Rock leans out of a moving vehicle and redirects a missile with his hand.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliant. And there were jokes made like, what are you guys going to do after the next one? Are you going to do like Fast and Furious on the moon? And the director, James Lin, was just kind of like, I mean, if we could figure out how to do that, we probably would. Like, if we could figure out a reason to put them on the moon, we will. Because why the fuck not at this point?
Exactly.
And Hobbs and Shaw just looks like a testosterone-driven, complete, like, just shoot-'em-up style.
It looks like a good time.
Fuck everything and throw in all of the one-liners you can possibly throw in. It's Schwarzenegger, like, style to its best. And I think it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks good.
I would not be surprised if it is one of the highest grossing movies of all time, because this franchise is huge internationally, because they do, as I was saying before we went live, they do a great job of bringing in people that are the number one actors in China or in, the Middle East or in India. Now. And now they've got, Statham being a huge UK actor, but all of the supporting actors are always huge actors from whatever country they're from, and it brings in so much more money because...
And Ludacris was in shit.
That's the other question. Does Ludacris show up in this movie?
I really hope so, because he is phenomenal with The Rock in the last one. He is so fucking great. Movie? I don't know.
Is he casted for this?
I don't think he's listed as a cast member on this one, but... All right. Well, I could literally sit here and talk about Fast and Furious all day long, which it's funny that's
weird.
something that you don't know about me. That is...
I did not know that you would go to the theater.
Oh, my God. I have seen...
That's the last movie I would ever be like, yo, Kyle, you want to go and watch Fast and Furious in the theater?
I've seen...
now that I know that, I'll go and
I think it was 4 or 5. There's this one scene where they're driving through a bunch of tunnels underneath this mountain, and Vin Diesel has to basically go through a mine shaft and then break out from the mine shaft and bust out the side of a mountain. And he goes flying out the side of a mountain, shoots himself through the side of like a rock wall, and then lands on another car right next to another car and just goes, fucking pussies. And it is the ballsiest, great. And in that moment, I fell in love for forever with this series. And another thing that I've fallen in love with for forever is a good friend of mine, Mr. Dave Filstra.
Yeah, man.
I love this guy. He's great.
Submitted other stuff from other bands on his label, or stuff that he's been part of. Canadensis.
He has a group called Canadensis. He runs Anima. He runs Anima Recordings. The track that we're going to be playing here on our break, they call it Ruin and Lust, but the shorter version that they're playing here is called Ruin and Lust. It looks more Germanic in the original spelling. Yeah. His band is called Ramprasand.
Wait, say that again?
Ramprasand. Ramprasad. They have a title of their EP is also Ruin and Lust. Ruin and Lust.
Ruin and Lust.
Yes. Ruin and Lust. RUINENLUST. So the version that we're going to be playing is edited a little bit shorter than the album version. And again, they call it Ruin and Lust to differentiate it. But you can check out wrathoframprasad.bandcamp.com if you want to check out this song or any other of their songs. It's a little bit of a longer one. Like I said before, this is going to break a record for our featured guest
and what is
8 minutes and 37 seconds.
Nice. What's the record label again?
The record label is Anima Recordings. They
is that .com?
That's I don't know if that's .com or not. He just sent that it's Anima Recordings, and you can find the digital and cassette versions, animarecordings.net. There we go. Animarecordings.net. There we go.
Check it out. Order some
so
tapes
check
and
that
stuff.
out.
Spell Anima for me?
ANIMA. It's like animal without the last L.
Gotcha.
Or without any L's, really.
Yeah.
So here is Ruin and Lust from Ramprasand. They are out of Portland by way of the Poconos for one of their members. I think everybody else is out there in Portland or from somewhere else and transplanted. Who knows? I didn't ask for a full bio on them.
Well,
so if you want to know more about them, you got to get to know them.
True.
So you can listen to them. Again, wrathoframprasad.bandcamp.com from Anima Recordings, animarecordings.net. Here is Ruin and Lust. We'll see you in about 8.5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy. right, we are back. Hell fucking yeah. As Zach was just saying, that song is fucking crazy. Wish there were words. When there aren't words to a song, you pay attention a lot to the music, obviously.
It was emotional.
There's a lot of crazy fucking
you feel the rise and the fall without being like preempted by somebody's
That's why I like Mogwai
vocal
so much.
strain. Yeah, you do like Mogwai a lot.
I do.
But I think that is fucking brutal. One thing I always loved about most of the things that Dave writes, because he is more, I mean, I don't know exactly what he's writing in this group,
right.
But being an all-around musician, he can play, a stringed instrument, and he's a phenomenal fucking drummer. He focuses so much on the tone of everything, just the final product, the sound that he is putting in your ears is such an important thing to him,
Right.
that I don't know if I can remember a band that he recorded with vocals, like, specifically, but everything that he's done on his own that is instrumental is just really fucking fun to just, like, have playing. It is, like, it's almost driving music, or if you're playing a video game, you can kind of, like, just put it on and, like, zone out with it. He did record when he was with that, but he's always worked with different things that I would never know about or ever like venture into if he wasn't a friend of mine. So I've always thoroughly enjoyed the exposure that he gives me to weird fucking sounding music.
Sure.
But that was brutal. That was just fun.
And I think he's turned down some friends that wanted to release stuff. Not in a bad way, but I think he's just like, it's not weird enough for this label.
Yeah.
And that's what they go by.
Yeah, I would not be able to go up to him and be like, yo, here's my 5-song EP of songs I wrote. They're all singer-songwriter. It wouldn't work for that.
Yeah, so they keep it in that vein of like strange stuff that you're not
they know what
they
know what they're looking for. They know what they like, and it's fucking awesome. Again, that's animarecordings.net. That was Ramprasand. Probably not pronouncing that correctly because I'm not reading it.
Sounds like ampersand.
Ampersand, but Ramprasand.
I'm going to do another one.
Another one. Ooh. Oh, dude, that's such a good clicking sound right there. Such a good clicking sound. Oh, all right. So we alluded to this a little bit before.
Are we ASMR for alcoholics?
I think we are. I think we are. We need to start popping some corked bottles.
I need to separate us in channels.
I'm going to open this corked bottle.
I'm not going to do that right now.
People would probably go crazy over a corked bottle opening.
You know what? After this podcast, there is a sound you have to hear.
Yeah. Ooh.
Is it my ass?
No, it's not your ass.
Was that your ass? Was that the sound of your ass?
I have a tight butthole.
That is a tight butthole.
Very terrible noise.
Yeah. All right. I can't wait for it.
Yes.
All right. So we started talking about it a little bit before, and during the musical break, we were kind of chit-chatting about this. Our song that we wrote this week, as far as what it is musically as a final product, again, as usual, Justin and I have not heard it. Right. Zach, have you listened to it at all the way through?
No.
All right, so none of us have listened to it all the way through, but Zach knows what he did to it. My initial thought was, hey, let's write a Maroon 5 style song that's about how bad Maroon 5's performance was, and how they were... how it was just disappointing, and how the whole Super Bowl was just kind of boring and dull.
This did not add to it.
Do
you think it would have been better if the Super Bowl was better?
If the Super Bowl was better, I think it wouldn't look as jarringly bad to me. But the fact that I was so bored already, and then it's like, oh, okay, here's time for the entertainment, and it was one of the less entertaining... That was my phone that fell. One of the less entertaining performances, because I remember being skeptical about people in the past. The big one was Bruno Mars. I had only ever really heard Bruno Mars on the radio, didn't know anything about him, and would hear people bring him up, people sing him at karaoke.
Sure.
And then his Super Bowl performance a few years ago was... There you go.
Sorry.
Oh, up in our ASMR listeners right there. But his performance a few years ago baffled me because he was a wonderful... He was Prince-like. He was Prince-like in a way.
Right.
He was playing multiple instruments. He had an actual band backing him. And also in his performance, he did the dance from the Goofy movie. Basically, it's just the whole performance he did was ripped from the Goofy movie, whether on purpose or subliminally or what, but it was.
Didn't notice that.
Well,
it was fucking
what channel
phenomenal.
Is this on?
What are you talking? This is just the Super Bowl from
I know,
a few
but
years back.
what the Super Bowl broadcast on what channel?
NBC some years, CBS other years. This past year it was CBS.
Was it NBC?
I think it was NBC
by Disney.
No, that's ABC. ABC's owned by Disney.
Okay. I was gonna say it would make sense.
And ESPN.
Actually, me and Mark went through every Super Bowl performance ever the other day at lunch. And the Walt Disney Company used to be like the main producer for the halftime show.
Production,
Yeah.
They
back in the day.
Back in the day when you were getting like the gambling school band or whatever. There's like this one school band that would play like almost every year gambling or something like that. But they would get big traditional school marching bands to do the show.
They had themes and stuff too.
They had themes and they would have educational side of it. They would have a lot. And then the first one that kind of crossed over was around like 90, 92, somewhere in there. New Kids on the Block were the big first. Let's go and put something out. Which
it makes
kind
sense
of
why it stayed that format too.
Well, it makes a lot of sense because this weekend and during the performance, I'm dealing with the 8 people that are in my bar, and all of us are not really stoked about it being Maroon 5. I don't really have anything huge against Maroon 5.
I just don't listen to them. It's not my thing.
I don't listen to them. I watch The Voice, and I like him on The Voice, so personality-wise, I like the guy. But I just wasn't really stoked on where I thought they were going to go with it. And they kind of went there because I figured it's in Atlanta. They said that what's his name, Travis.
Dude, the worst part was that Travis Scott and Big Boy only did like a minute each.
Yeah.
Well, I figured they were going to do a very obvious. Let's cater to the people of the city that we're in because they did that when it was in Minnesota. They have to have Prince. Sure. When they go to Seattle, it's going to be Dave Grohl or somebody along those lines.
Is that where Maroon 5's from? Atlanta?
No, I know. They're from California. So. They're from Los Angeles.
Okay, so then they had the local acts.
The local acts were the rap acts.
Travis Scott?
I'm not sure, but that...
I think they just picked Travis Scott because he probably had... He had, like, the highest selling... One of the highest selling, like, hip-hop albums
All right,
last year. And that intro... That snare, how that snare fill comes out, you know, on Sycamore, it's like...
Yeah.
That shit is fire. Like, I wasn't super nuts about the album, but the intro to that song is probably, like, my favorite intro of last year.
Well,
for sure.
With the halftime and who is specifically being chosen to play, I was listening to a lot of people complaining that they don't put on bands like they used to. And that's what everyone kept saying. They don't put on bands like they used to.
Because it's such a... Think about and what they're doing takes a lot of fucking work.
Well, it does.
Imagine the fucking hassle and a lot of that.
The thing that...
There's still full bands every year.
There are, but the thing that is funny is that it wasn't ever really established as, let's have real bands. New Kids on the Block were the first band or the first group that did it. And through the 90s, it was mostly pop stars.
Same thing through
the 2000s, the
yeah.
mid-2000s are where you actually got the Rolling Stones played, the
Who
played.
They were old.
They were all the people that were
already.
And now you're getting to the point where the NFL wants to and the NFL wants to secure a fan base for the next 50 years. And the people that want to see The Who, they would want to see Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath or any band that they
they're already fans of the NFL. Right?
They're already fans of the NFL, and they're not going to be here in 50 years to watch it.
True.
So what they want to do is they want to get people that are 15 right now to watch it until they're 70.
Which I get. I do
so
get
we're
that.
going to get you by getting the bands and the
but
artists
during the
that
Super
you like
Bowl,
now.
I almost feel like instead of NFL taking care of the fucking entertainment for it, like obviously they do it. They do it in broadcasting because they're spending a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And it's for people in the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason. It's almost... I would almost rather them cut a deal like CBS come up with a half-hour show for the Super Bowl or whoever the fuck it is and just play that.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be live
Pepsi is who does all that.
Yeah, but it doesn't... Are you saying it doesn't have to be live in the Super Bowl? We could just watch an actual good concert for a half an hour?
Yeah, whatever the fuck... Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like set it up...
Either way,
however,
either way, this year, for me personally, my personal opinion, He sounded, Adam Levine himself sounded off right off the bat. I said something almost immediately to somebody at the bar. I was like, there's got to be a problem with his monitors, or he's sick right now. Because he sounded off. And a couple songs later, towards the end of it, he winds up ripping his in-ears out and throwing them out. So I think that he had some issue with the monitors and had to kind of go straight off his just natural knowledge of the music and the orchestration of it all.
I mean, it's a big fucking space that you have to send signals.
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of shit that can be getting crossed. There's a lot of cell phones, a lot of people with walkie-talkies. Every single person that's like on a coaching staff has a headset. Yeah. So a lot of signals could be getting fucked up there. So it makes sense that he had some issue. Also, it's the largest stage of your career. It makes sense that something's going to fuck up.
Right.
Towards the end of it, his voice kind of turned around to the point where I almost thought maybe he was lip-syncing the last song, but he did enough improvised shit that I was like, okay, you're not. I don't really know the rap side of it there. Like, I'm not a fan of either of them, so it kind of just washed over me.
You're not a fan of Outkast?
I know Outkast. I like Outkast, but I don't... when he came out, I didn't specifically realize that's Big Boy from Outkast.
Really?
Like, I did not recognize him. Like, if it was Andre 3000, I would have been like, Andre 3000, you're also an actor. I know who you are.
Big Boy's been in movies with Andre 3000.
Yeah, I just don't recognize him. I just don't. He's
Big Boy's the more prolific rapper out of the two of them. He has Andre never did a solo album.
Andre
but it makes
3000
sense
definitely
that
has a.
I know the guy from Four Brothers,
him,
not the guy who's the better rapper.
He does.
Though.
I didn't say he's a better rapper.
Well, I'm saying, okay, a more prolific rapper,
but
or more prolific
like
rapper.
he had more of a rap career. Than Andre did.
Now, speaking of rappers, I made the comment in our group chat that we have going on on our text message group chat with all of the idiots that Adam Levine looked like he was doing his best white Tupac performance, because once he took the shirt off, once he took the throw pillow tank top that we were talking about, how you said there was a curtain.
There's a curtain.
There's a throw pillow. There's all these different patterns that his tank top is. He took it off, and the memes about his shirt being taken off and what his body looked like. Somebody posted a picture of him next to a picture of a CD for like clip art, and it had like all Old West, like all black clip art, and it looks like he was stamped. Like it looks like he was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I know they're real, like they're all real, but it looks like they were drawn on. They were like, hey, can we make this guy look like a punk rocker? Let's make this guy look like a punk rocker for this performance over here. And then they put California across his stomach, like Thug Life. I saw a great picture of just some fat kid that wrote Illinois in Sharpie across his stomach right after.
I'm gonna get that across my Pennsylvania. Just right across
you should
my fatness.
You should go old local style and call it Pensy. So either way, the performance itself, I didn't really enjoy. Zach, you have a differing feeling about it.
It made me like Maroon 5. Maybe
a little bit. It made you like them a little bit.
It made me appreciate them.
That's probably a better way.
I thought. I guess I am the only one in the world that thought it wasn't that bad.
Were you not as distracted by his physical performance of it, like with the shirt taking off? Like, I know that a lot of people are gravitating towards that, but I think it was just such like an out of place thing to do in that atmosphere. To all of a sudden,
it wasn't a bad move to do at a family event like the Super Bowl. Yes, well, you know what I mean. That's because even my mom was
does
like,
he do that as regular concerts?
I don't know.
Like, is it by the end of the performance? Is he just like shirtless? Is that how
I know
he's like,
he performs with his band. He will be behind the drum set half the time. He'll be playing guitar. He'll be jumping all over the place. So I wouldn't be surprised that he takes his shirt off.
I've been shirtless at gigs.
Yeah. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that.
If that's just something that he naturally does all of the time.
Was it inappropriate?
I think the fact that he did it at the moment that they started doing moves like Jagger, that it was obviously like, I'm going to sex it up now.
Yeah,
Here we go. We're getting sexy at this point.
I mean, he looks a lot better with his shirt off than me.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, and the women that were in the bar,
even my mom was like,
they were all like, okay, I'm not going to fight this right now. And I'm like, I get that. Like, if you could have him versus,
your fat husband.
Yeah, your fat husband. You're gonna pick him for sure.
My mom was like, "Oh, you know, my husband drank a whole bottle of bourbon while he was ice fishing yesterday, and the kids had to drive him home.
And that guy just has California across his tummy.
Bad tattoos, but God, he's ripped.
He's ripped. He's ripped." I heard somebody saying they were like, "Yeah, he looks good top half up. He skips leg day. There was like a bunch of he skips leg day type of comments."
Man.
Well, the song that we wrote this week. Again, we were starting off. I thought let's write something that sounds like a Maroon 5 song and make it kind of mocking Maroon 5. Yeah. As Zach said, he respects them now, but not enough to actually sit down and listen to their music enough to imitate it. So, what would you say was the basis of the song as you started out? What was your approach starting it off?
Well, I wanted to write a song like Maroon 5, but I couldn't bring myself to listen to Maroon 5. So Apple recommended me today that I listen to some M83 album, which I listened to some songs from, and I'm like, I should just listen to some French pop. So I listened to some Christine and the Queens.
Alrighty.
And then just, thought about all the French pop music I've listened to over the years.
That's why I think we walked into.
Has nothing to do with Maroon 5 at that point.
You were saying French pop. This is what we're doing. We're going to do French pop.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, I can still kind of do vocally like a Maroon 5 style vocal. And then I was like, ooh, what if I write a song from the point of view of Michael Jackson, basically being like, you're stepping on my grave and whatever. Right. So that was my thought. So I start writing in the idea of, okay, we're going to break it up like that. There's going to be some hee-hees and ho-hos, but a lot of like weird, like little like stop and go parts that he liked to write, and also at the same time imitating Maroon 5. The song progressed.
But what I committed to in the building the song initially, I ended up disliking very much.
Okay.
And then having to change styles to make the chords and shapes and sounds that I had made.
For the most part, the chord progression throughout is the same.
Yeah.
It's a pop song at heart that it is the same four chords.
But something about it just like broke down on me. I was like, I know I wrote this with a French pop in mind, but it's turned into like LA slacker garage rock song.
Yeah, that's what it started to sound like.
Like there's no synth on it at all. I had all this synth and stuff we had worked on, and then like at a certain point I was like, this is wrong for what we wrote, and we totally switched it up. Then when you went to do vocals, it was like, yeah, the whole idea of the song has changed 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of times.
But we worked through. I feel like we spent a lot of time on vocals.
Well, that was the nice thing is I realized that I woke up from the nap I took while you were writing everything.
Yeah.
And you.
Well, I came back in from playing drums, and you.
I was out. I was out.
And I was like, okay.
And I'm like listening to what you guys have written. I'm just kind of like, all right. And I get up there, and my first take, you just go, you sound totally lost. So I'm like, yeah, I wrote like thinking Michael Jackson, and now like I don't know. And so I did like one take, and I did something as I kind of usually gravitate towards like an Elvis Costello style vocal because it's just lazier and it's easier to get away with when you don't know what the fuck you're doing to be like, And you went, yeah, Elvis Costello like that. And I was like, totally not anything like we had started with, but I guess I missed some things in the nap.
If you've noticed, like the way we record, we've got to this point where we just shout, like, even if it's just you need one word, you shout out someone like, when you say and there, Axl Rose it.
Axl Rose.
And like we're all like immediately like, yep, I got you. Like, yo, Justin, on that fill there, you know how the rest of the song is like Neil Peart, do that one fill like Ringo, and you're like, okay, I got what you mean. You know what I mean?
We can do that. Like, so like throw it out.
Like we must have shouted 15 names out while you were recording vocals. Like, do this like this, do this like this, and like we sort of.
Yeah, I think the main two that it kind of came down to was Elvis Costello and then Beach Boys.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it kind of started coming down to. So what started off as Maroon 5, mocking Maroon 5, and then went to Michael Jackson,
Right.
E, and then went to French pop, and then garage rock, slacker rock. We don't know what we're gonna be, what we're gonna be hearing here. But what was the name? What name did he give the song?
It was
something crazy, right?
John Liquid Zuma.
Oh yeah, John Liquid Zuma. Yes, yes. I forget why, but we were talking about John Liquid Zuma.
John Liquid Zuma as if you ever grew weed.
Oh, if you ever grew weed, yeah. If John Leguizamo was growing weed, right?
No. If you ever,
if I ever grew weed, I would.
Leguizamo
Yeah. See, I gotta stop riffing things while I'm half napping. You know, I don't remember it. I don't remember it very well.
It was a good one.
All right. So, how long did this song come out to, Zach? Any records being broken?
It's like 5 minutes.
Nice.
So
good
for a pop song.
For us, it's a short pop song. It is a short pop song.
I've been I did throw some shredding on it afterwards, you know.
Oh yeah.
As would be expected. All right, well, let's check out
some new things lately.
Our weekly brunch original single here. Say the name once again. John Liquid Zuma. John Liquid Zuma. All right, John Liquid Zuma.
No, Liquid.
Liquid Zuma.
Yeah. John Liquid
yeah.
Space Zuma.
Space Zuma. Okay, I'm thinking it's all one word. Okay, never mind. John Liquid Zuma is the name of this song. It's about Maroon 5. We'll be back in a couple of minutes to keep bullshitting. All right, see you soon.
Pave the way for that pitch you're shrieking. Moves like Mick, that's a sad aspiration. Get off my street with all that slow-mo stripping. Man up, cause dead brains crush your present. I'd rather a roaring, sober-minded okay with her. Got to charge, catered to locals, rap rock rendition, a song we never knew we didn't want. A low light of a slow night. A low night of a slow night. A low light of a slow night. A low light of a slow. Who do you think you are? Who are you sure that it's who do you think you are? Who are you sure that it's yeah, his token is and your missing proof the distance between reality and the image you've been primping. A low light of a slow night. A low night of a slow night. A low light of a slow night. A low light of a slow. Who do you think you are? pitch you're shrieking. Moves like Mick, that's a side aspiration. Get off my screen with all that slow-mo stripping. Man up, 'cause dead brings crush your presence. Crush your presence. Crush your presence.
All right, and we
So much
are
like Maroon 5,
back.
right?
That is literally the best Maroon 5 song I've ever
Turned
heard.
into a straight up like garage rock.
It
song.
is. That is
Pretty
what
much,
it.
yeah.
But I mean, for us, that is a short, happy pop song right there.
It is.
The chorus repeats at least 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean,
90% chorus.
it is 90% chorus. That is a pop song there for sure. Now,
I'm gonna do another one, boys.
another one here.
Go ahead.
Enjoying those poppin' tops so much. Now, we don't have a guest this week, but what we do have is Justin, you stumbled upon something at the wonderful local pawn shop that Rich and Mikey
went.
And that's our
work at.
sponsor this
Yeah.
week.
That's our
go
sponsor,
on.
cock rings that you can buy used at the pawn shop by Sunoco in East Stroudsburg.
Yeah.
Was it the Trading Post? Is that what it's
Trading
called?
Post, yes.
Trading Post.
Yes.
Go buy a used cock ring. Both of them, try both of them or all of them out.
Just walk in and
And-
say, "Hey, I heard you can get cock rings."
Cock
here."
rings. You guys are the cock ring guys, right?
The
You're
cock ring kings.
The cock ring kings of Stroudsburg, huh?
Oh, man.
Yeah, the cock ring kings of the Poconos
Gonna have
over
people
here.
walking in there.
Oh
The
my
whole two
god!
people that
I
are listening.
really, if you go in there and you ask for cock rings, please record it, videotape it, do something, and then send it to us, and
yes.
we will have you as
you.
a guest. We will love you. We will find someone to fillet you, not to fillet you, but to blow you on your wiener.
I'll stab
and if you
ya.
don't have a wiener, Zach will stab you. Is that what you were saying? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's where that was going.
That's where that was going.
No, I'm saying, if you wanted me to stab you.
Oh, if you want, okay, but if you don't have a wiener, he'll blow you.
If
still.
it's consensual stabbing,
Consensual stabbing is all you need. Now, when you walked into the pawn shop, was this already there? Or did this come in while you were sitting there? Because this seems like
it was there. It was
How
there. I
long-
didn't even notice it. Actually,
How long have they had this item?
I guess they just got it.
I was gonna say this seems like something that I was shocked that was at the pawn shop.
Yeah.
All together. Now, tell the world what was your wonderful find?
They had an Oculus Rift there.
An Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
Which 2 years ago, if you had seen anywhere at all, you would have lost your fucking mind that there was a VR.
I mean, you can buy them from Best Buy. You can walk.
Yeah,
Best
well
Buy and get them
now, but the fact that 2 years ago, this thing that we were all watching videos on fucking YouTube about the upcoming release of this life-changing thing, and you got it at the
I
fucking
don't know
pawn
if it,
shop.
necessarily know if it was ever life changing.
Oh, people were really pushing it as like the changing
for sure.
They were pushing that so hard as this
Did
is
you
the
try
future
it,
of
Kyle?
everything. I did.
I have not yet.
Very
Minimally,
minimally.
I very minimally tried it
Basically,
out.
what I want to do after this episode, not tonight specifically,
Yeah.
but before next episode and follow up on this. But I want to move the couches back and set up the computer in the
Yeah, give it a little bit
living
more room.
That way the sensors and everything can fucking
Yeah. Now we
read
set it up like in
correctly.
the doorway right here,
And it was reading pretty good.
It was reading pretty well. I'm not exactly sure what the two different things that you put me in were, but the
One was Psychonauts.
Well, the astronaut one where I was in a spaceship and I was like bouncing back and forth between different people, so I wasn't really moving around, but I was able to like transfer, my consciousness to another person in the room and then look around from their point of view. And there's 4 people in the cab, and you're going back and forth between them, and then all of a sudden I look up and there's like this fucking squirrel, and you're able to go into that squirrel's point of view, and it shifted to me being in a seated position, even though I was standing in real life. The character I was inside of was seated to being in a stowaway, position above, a little cargo hold. And I'm a squirrel. And the second I went up there, the gravity changed. Like I could feel a shift. and I know it's all mental.
Yeah,
but
eyes are telling
all
you
of a sudden
what's going
I'm
on.
sitting 6 feet higher, 10 feet higher, whatever it is, than I was originally,
Right.
and I'm also smaller. So
Yes.
everything just kind of shifted, and that kind of just threw me kind of like for a loop and really fucking messed with my head. And I was like, holy shit, like, why? Like, I feel like I am standing on the edge of a wall or something that, like, if I take a step, I will fucking fall and hurt myself.
Well, then I also put you in, it's like a Skyrim-ish thing.
Yeah.
Where you could actually walk around.
Do they have Skyrim in VR?
They do.
How many times are we going to have to buy this game?
I don't know. They have Fallout and Doom as well.
All of them.
But,
all of them.
I should just do that. And then
Do they not have GTA 5
They
yet?
don't. I don't know if GTA has I'll have to look and see if they have
I would
support
love
for it.
a
They
good
might.
GTA
They
VR.
might.
That would be amazing.
But walking around and being able to actually crouch and like turn your head and like like it's a fucking weird experience.
Well,
Because you actually feel like you're in a room at that point, and you're in a room, obviously.
And it's so funny because right before I put the headset on and took the handle, you know, the things from you, I'm watching you, and I'm just giggling because I'm like, you look like a fucking dumbass. Like, you look
no way,
so dumb.
There is no way that
I
you're
said
not
you look
looking
with the goggles on. I was like, you're really pulling a Richard Dreyfuss over here. You look like you're ready to go look for a big fucking shark with Robert Shaw. Like it looks so fucking stupid, and that I think is maybe a big thing for certain people.
Well, I feel like
to get it.
But I feel like it also adds to the experience
because
because
the privacy of their own house.
For the most part, I mean, yes, it's a single experience thing.
Yeah.
But it's also for everybody else. Like, you can still see, like, if it was set up in the living room, the screen behind the TV would have
you
what,
can
what
see
you're
what
actually seeing.
Yeah, what you're seeing.
But then you see the person being a fucking idiot. Like, literally.
I was taking pictures of you last night when you first set it up and set it up.
Dude,
but
it's fucking it's
but
intense.
what I want to do with it is
the
I
roller
want to set it up. I want to do the roller coasters. I want to check out some movies.
Yeah.
I'm going to load up some porn, not in a sexual way, like I'm not saying to jerk off.
We're going to very unsexually watch porn.
I want everybody to go through, and then we should vote on, or at least discuss, is it worth it for any of those things?
Any of those things, yeah.
Or is it just a complete gimmick?
We need to make sure we have the right type of people here for it, because certain people, if you put on that VR porn...
I'm afraid...
Yeah.
They're going to go crazy.
I'm
They're going to
truly
go nuts.
afraid that once I try this...
Yeah.
You can't...
As soon as I take the headset off, I will be ordering one.
It's... All right.
Is that a bad thing, though?
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Are you just going to move into the VR?
It's not something that you can do all of the time, though. It's not something you can be sitting there for fucking 3 days with the helmet on straight. Like,
well, even after...
You would fucking fry your brain.
For me, the size of my fat head with the width of my fat glasses, they wouldn't fit underneath it.
Were you able to actually see anything?
I could see. Okay. I mean, not great. I had a hard time reading anything that I had to read. But I was basically... It made it feel a little bit more real, I think, on that side, because... It was like someone took my glasses off. The fact that the people I'm looking at are cartoons, you know, is obviously, you know, going to set it off that it's not real. But if it was like GTA and I had no glasses on and I was just looking at it with my natural ability to see things, you almost, besides the motion of people, I might not realize that I'm in a video game. If I were to wake up with that on without my glasses and just start like moving around, I'd probably be like, besides like, why the hell do I have these things on my hands? I'd probably be like, wait, where the fuck am I? It would take me a minute or two.
I mean, we're definitely talking about reactions from people.
Yeah.
And you made a comment like that's the best like that's what the fuck was it? It's like the best reaction that anybody could buy.
Yeah,
but it's not like, or that anybody could ever want for their product. Because like when you're watching videos of people looking like idiots and going on roller coasters and literally falling to the ground, like until you try it, until you're in that space and you can look around and what you think is behind you is not what behind you. Like behind me is a window, but when I turn around with VR, I'm in space or whatever the fuck it is. So my mind is just like, okay, I know I'm sitting down and I haven't moved. But am I going to bump into anything? Like consciously, I'm there in that fucking world, but I'm also trying to figure out where I am in real life.
Yeah, that was at one point. I mean, because I would hit like the boundaries that we had, the parameter that we had set up very quickly. If I, extended outside of the parameter, it would then highlight where the parameter was, so I would see it. Move back, and so I would move back. But without, if I hadn't seen that, dude, I don't know. Overall, I'm baffled with how good the technology is. To be looking some more? Like, I'm excited to try things out that I've seen people do terribly at. Okay. I want to try the roller coaster.
They also have a Tetris that's in VR.
That's weird. I want to try the puppy. The puppy on the
plank.
On the plank. We watched, I don't know, a bunch of terrible rappers. Sure. I'll try to
I can walk get that. Out. I can get a bunch of that. I want to get a day of different things from games to movies to porn.
I would really like to try some horror.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like that's got to be the ultimate.
Well, that is what Justin was saying.
And horror movies. Yeah. I want to that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna die of a heart attack in VR.
I also want to get games that don't seem scary, but like when you have to go rescue that dog walking out to a plank, looking down at.
It's just it adds that element to it, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and the graphics for a lot of these games aren't great, but it's because your brain's telling you like, "Fuck, you're in a tiny room, something's chasing you. Yeah. Get the fuck out." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's what the experience is.
From your knowledge of everything that's going on with VR, at least for PlayStation, what would you say is looked at as like the best game that's going out? Is there anything that you've seen? I don't know. It's
not like something that I was keeping up on. Okay, you know what I mean? It's just kind of.
Have there been any big releases?
I mean, there are a lot of big VR.
You said Skyrim. Yeah, so
there's a lot of big releases.
And is it the same quality visual?
Dude, imagine a dragon swooping down on you in Skyrim.
You have to understand though. You have to understand that the PlayStation technology, the VR headset, the actual look of it is a little bit less clear. Yeah. So it's pixelated at times, and I'm not saying that the image quality inside that headset is the greatest because the way that they have to do it. Like
so the one you got here, does that plug into the PlayStation or is that?
No, it's
okay.
PC
That's
only.
just PC only. Okay, okay.
And I was wondering about. So how much does your graphics card have to do with the VR? None.
No, you need a good graphics card to do it.
You do need a good graphics card to do it?
You need at least a 1060 to do it.
It's not like running like the audio interface on the computer is... Like, it doesn't matter what the sound card is because it's an external hardware. This isn't like that?
Because it runs on HDMI, the video card can also act as a sound card then. There's sound card chips on there. So you can have... I mean, the headset has headphones.
Or no, but I'm talking about video. You need a good video card to run it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it won't run unless you have a good video card. Okay. Like it won't.
It's not like you're investing money. There's no outboard video equipment. No. Like your video card is what's powering.
Yeah, the video card going to the headset that has the two screens on it. And the way that it works is it's bubble it's basically double-sided bifocals to almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Magnify the image. Because what's going on in the headset is each eye has screens, but they're tiny. But they can put out whatever. I think they can put out 1080p. I think that's what you're getting. And it's a shutter effect, almost like 3D. You know what I mean? So it closes one eye on and off. You know what I mean? And it does it within a certain amount of refresh rates on those screens. And it almost makes you... cross-eyed in that sense. Like we were talking about with finding those fucking the hidden picture posters and watching 3D. It almost makes you focus in on what's going on to create that universe.
You need a 1060 to run it.
1060 at least, yeah.
Damn.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, do you know what the original price of the Oculus Rift
when they bought
they first sent
this kit right here that they bought was probably about $500.
$500 brand new.
Yeah. You can get them brand new.
The little paddle, the hand paddle things.
Yeah,
and
for that kit, yes. Now you can get them new for $349.
$349 right now. That's what they're going for.
You can get them for $349.
What's the other one? The Vive.
The Vive is insanely expensive, but the Vive. All right. So the thing you need to understand about VR is it takes space. Like to do it properly, where we're talking right now, doesn't make sense. I have an L desk. There's not a lot of room. It makes no sense. So to set it up in the living room where it's a wide open fucking area.
Well, I'm thinking, where I'm thinking would be a great setup for it.
Where?
On my computer. Then you could sit back on that red couch If you're like the only person in there.
You totally could do that, but
I mean, but I'm saying that would be like a decent room for it.
I mean, you would, as long as you have something that is open.
I was gonna say, how much space do they say you really need?
Well,
like,
for
what
the
do they
Vive,
recommend?
you get these little boxes. It costs $800, and they're putting out a new one. I think it's $1,500. But you get 8 boxes that you set up in your room. So you map out the borders.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And basically what you do from that point is since that it's 8 points, it tracks you better. Like the Vive is a better setup. Because you're walking around, you're paying for it, but you have 8 sensors that's picking up where the head is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So from that point, instead of setting the boundaries like we did where a mesh wall would come up, you would set boundaries within those boxes. So let's say before an inch before hitting that box, you want the wall in the game to end. So when you're walking up to the wall in the game, you don't run into your own wall.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know what I mean? So you're paying for more things for a better experience.
Yeah.
Not saying the Oculus isn't a bad experience, but
no, I mean it's not a bad experience. And then
but you are limited to the length of the cable and all that other shit. But
so that specific thing originally $500, now you can get it for $350.
$350. I think it's the headset and 1 sensor.
Do you know what they paid at the shop for it when they took it in?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
No.
Do you want to say what you paid for it?
They really hooked me up.
They really hooked you up. That's why I don't want to ask.
No.
All right, so but I do want to ask.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you off.
You'll tell me off. All right. So, but so far with what you've experienced, is it worth what you paid for it?
I mean, yeah, just right off the bat.
Right off the bat?
I mean, it's something that I wanted to get.
For the curiosity of it alone, it's worth it.
You also have to understand that Oculus just put out a Go unit. So you can actually literally have, it's a whole complete unit.
Okay.
Just put the fucking headset on, you wear a pack,
and you
can
just
get to walk around the world.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Okay, but they do have, like, I think it's a front camera that lets you, like, if shit's about to happen.
Yeah, now, the one that you have now, is that basically like having the first iPhone or the first iPod or something? Is that the first from Oculus Rift? Is that their
you could have bought, like,
earlier? They had earlier ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
That weren't actual releases, but... Like,
but this is the first big
This is the first commercial release. Now they're finally coming up into the second sets very soon. Which will probably get you better screen resolution, probably better head tracking... Like, just more improvements to the actual unit.
Yeah.
I mean, is it worth me going out and buying a new one? No, because I have... Until the point that they're like, okay, this is no longer... Like, you can never use this to what we're doing. I'll make a decision on whether I want to keep going with VR or not. But that's why I want to do more tests and shit to see...
You have this, and you're going to be able to experience and experiment with all the different games with this. Zach is saying that he's afraid that he's going to try it and he's going to
I think more so for, like, media and shit, man.
Well,
like,
I'm going to need
like
being able card, too. Graphics card that is expensive. Putting off trying it.
Being into, like, movies and shit the way that I am, and I want to see what that's like. I want to see what watching a movie and being actually in the same room that the movie and shit's going on. Like, being right there with the characters and then being able to turn and look at whatever I want to look at.
Yeah. I would say that's the most alluring thing to me, is being submerged into a movie in that way would be awesome.
But it is also very selfish. You're not sitting there watching the same movie with somebody else.
Yes. No, definitely. It is a one-off thing. Until they perfect being able to have 2 people within the same thing.
The same room where you're wearing glasses.
That is what I'm really looking forward to, because the movie The Island that came out in like 2004, Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor play in a virtual reality boxing match where they are just beating the shit out of each other.
I mean,
but they're in 2 cubes across the room from each other.
You can do that right now. You just need to buy 2 fucking VRs, 2
and you can play
games, and 2 computers to do that.
Everybody would have to have their own individual.
We all are individually on VRs, and if you're watching live, you're on your VR, and then we're all in the same room.
Just you know,
I think maybe we've just been in VR this whole time.
VR podcast. You could be in the room with Joe Rogan.
Let's do it.
You could do that.
We're gonna start it here. You've heard it first.
All right, I'll figure out what the technology takes to do that.
We're gonna figure it all out.
Maybe we can broadcast some VR chat.
I'll have enough money to buy my own VR.
I don't know, man. It's a crazy technology. I do think it's a gimmick, but I love the gimmick of it. I like when I want to play video games and escape for a little while. There's no like that
is full escape.
Complete way to escape.
Yeah.
So if I just want to say fuck it, no matter how dumb I look doing it, at least I'm fucking lost in some
You said that is the gimmick, but you love the gimmick.
Yeah.
So when you think like the first video game, the gimmick was that it was video.
Yeah, of course.
So like people playing board games were like,
that's just a gimmick.
That's a gimmick.
And now visual representation of your game is not a gimmick anymore. It's the standard.
So the other big gimmick was music videos, man. That was a gimmick.
It was a gimmick.
Yeah, and then it became the standard. So
it did.
Do you think that
VR
will become the standard?
So technology is definitely there. There was a Ghostbusters thing that you could have done in New York City for a little while. It was a whole VR thing. 4 people would go in. And the way that the headsets were, you wore a whole pack, so it felt like a proton pack, like you had a backpack on, because that's what it took to fucking power this VR. But you could also see, so it was like...
Oh, so you're walking around and you're just having
you're walking around, but you have the VR
Terminator
goggles on.
level over everything.
Yeah, there's like
layer.
an overlay that they put on there, so you can see, but you obviously see your surroundings as well to be safe.
Hell yeah!
But you're just going through and doing this whole experience about Ghostbusters. But it would be technology, man. Like it would have to get to a point where you could have a single box that's small enough to little tiny fucking glasses or goggles.
Yeah.
Something that would go over your glasses.
So you literally are just putting something on your face.
So that a whole room of people could be like, oh, I have mine. Boom.
Yeah.
Google Glass, remember that?
Yeah,
I remember Google
combining
Glasses.
with that idea, they might actually be able to get something out of it.
Or what we'll see is an augmented reality. That's what they actually call it. It's augmented reality.
Okay.
I think that's what we'll see in TVs eventually.
Okay.
They'll figure it out. Because video card technology is getting to the point. All right. So I upgraded my video card as well. Because I got a... I went to Best Buy. I was like, fuck it. Put it on the card. Fucking just pay for that. 6 months, whatever. $400.
Yeah.
But the reason I got it, it's 50% faster than the old video card that I had.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Damn.
The technology, and it's the same level. Like, if you were going to buy, like, it's an entry-level video card for video gaming. So if I was going to buy it, a 2060 right now, like it's 50% faster than my previous card, which is absolutely insane. So the way the technology is going, I think eventually we'll get technology like that, but it's going to be more augmented reality where you'll be watching a show, but if you have glasses on for, let's say, like the show might be made for that, so they're going to pop different images in at times.
Hell yeah.
So it'll like make it actually look like it's coming out of your TV. Like I think there's going to be that type of thing.
And I mean they already have that on the minor level with like when you go to the Cinemark movie theater, they have that video game you can play on your phone that is pointing it at the screen. And when I'm looking at
Pokemon Go, dude, that was
Pokemon Go, yeah.
But not only that, but imagine if they were able to shut off that what actually like the clearness of it. Like imagine if they were able to just black out those lenses and like, I'll use Rick and Morty for example. You're watching Rick and Morty, and all of a sudden something happens in Rick and Morty, and you're just looking around, and you're in Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's the next level. That's the next level of the Black Mirror. That's what they got to go. They did Bandersnatch Choose Your Own Adventure, VR Choose Your Own Adventure, or AR Choose Your Own Adventure.
But I mean, I'm saying if technology got to that point, how crazy would that be? Put on fucking glasses. And
so, are you hopeful for the future of the VR and the AR technology based on what you've seen on the Oculus Rift so far?
I mean, I am. Is it going to last? I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah,
it could very well go. It could very well go the same route that 3D TVs went, but that was a huge gimmick that nobody gave a fuck about because people realized going to 3D movies are kind of shitty.
Well, that was a gimmick that hurt your eyes. Like I have a 3DS, and the 3D on the 3DS, it's incredible.
Sure.
For about 5 minutes.
Sure.
And then you have a major fucking headache.
Yeah.
It's amazing looking.
Sure.
But then you get a headache. So if
I'm not saying how long I can sit in that headset. I don't know. Before I'm like, I don't know. But if we develop technology that's better, that's is more smooth, they can do whatever they want.
Eyes at all
dude,
times.
imagine. I mean, we just watched a Twilight Zone fucking trailer from Peele.
Jordan Peele, yeah.
Which, I mean, imagine sitting down watching that and you have augmented reality glasses and your TV's augmented reality, and all of a sudden...
Instead of just the TV fucking up, it's fucking with you.
It's fucking with you because they're taking things in and out. And like somebody that might be actually just watching the episode are like, damn, that's pretty crazy. And they're like, wait, you weren't in that room too? Like, you know what I mean?
This is how we get to a dystopian future, though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's 100%. The Ready Player One level.
I'm intrigued by
We're already
this
there,
shit,
though.
And I think it's like cool. But at the same time, I also want to be like...
You got to be weary of it to some level.
No, I'm not saying to live in it. I don't want to live in it. But I want things that I love to be enhanced by it. You know what I mean? Like if I don't know, man.
If you can get a better experience from video games, from movies, from porn, from whatever, from using this type of thing...
But not taking over the world. I'm saying like if it just becomes part of normal entertainment, like having your cell phone
But if it becomes part of normal entertainment, then eventually... We'll all just have contact lenses that have this shit embedded into.
It'll be like on Futurama, the iPhone, where it's just a thing that goes right in your eye. Yeah.
I mean, but we're pretty much all connected in the same sense. Like we've already reached a level that if Skynet happened, we're all fucked.
Yeah, we're all fucked for
you know what I mean. So
for sure.
Really, I got a carburetor. I'm good,
yeah, that's great, man. I got one too.
I
got a carburetor, bro. I ain't afraid of Skynet. I need my carburetor to be good.
I don't have anything that makes fun of my car at all. I don't have a
James
car.
said there's already a VR podcast called Faux Show.
Oh shit! Well, that's something that
I'm gonna check that out for sure.
We should check it out. Faux Show. All right. Well, hey. I think I'm stoked on it. I think it's really cool. I think it's
gonna be fun. I think there's gonna be a lot of cool shit. Just to
the simulations. The idea of being able to go to different places and
one
see
thing we
different
will
things.
Experience is Star Trek.
Star Trek
yes.
VR.
Yes.
All right. Hell yeah.
What's Star Trek VR?
That's where you command. Like at the command center.
Oh my god! Yep. That's
don't even plug me into this.
Literally the greatest
thing
ever.
This is gonna cost me $1,000.
Oh my god! All right, let's start a GoFundMe for Zach's new addiction.
We need 3 brand new computers.
3 brand new computers.
3 brand new headsets.
All this stuff.
And a bigger room, place to rent out the room just so we can do this.
We need all of that. Bigger house.
Can we? We're looking for a GoFundMe of about
richer friends.
$25 million.
I think that would probably do it. That'd probably do it.
All right. Donate today.
We'll check back next week and see how we're doing on that.
Dude, in augmented reality, my dick is huge.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want, dude.
It's the biggest.
Every girl I have sex with is super hot.
Super hot. Super hot.
Dude, what about...
we're going to do VR chat, too, just to see how weird that is.
Hell yeah.
I don't know anything about it. It just seems crazy.
Well, I think this is going to be a fun thing for us to check in on the upcoming weeks and next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Next week on our episode, we will have Jameso, who's been here in the chat all night. He's going to be coming on.
Jameso's coming over.
Jameso's going to come over.
Right now. You can come over.
You can come over right now. We're here.
I misplaced my phone. He hit me up earlier.
Yeah, his phone's gone somewhere.
So come on over,
but
James.
he's going to come on next
Show's
week. We're
over, James. Come on.
We're going to be doing another one of our wonderful warm beer taste tests. We're going to go international with this one. And
what are we drinking?
Jameso's choosing. It's all Jameso's choice. I'm sure there'll be a Heine in there for sure. Maybe a Stella.
Are we getting a pour?
Oh, we got to talk.
Can we talk to Mr. WP about it?
We can talk to Mr. WP's about it and see if he's good to come over for that.
I think that was confirmed.
That was confirmed the last time I talked to him, I believe, but we have to reconfirm as always.
I'll just call him right now.
Yeah, we'll call him. We'll call him. You don't know where your phone is. You don't know where your phone is.
He will say yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, as always, so much to Mr. Justin Olimpedo.
You're welcome.
For putting all this together for everybody here. And Mr. Zachary.
VR scares me.
Stormin. Zachary. VR scares me, Stormin. All right. And for Kyle Mocha, Won't Shut Up, I'm Kyle Mocha. Make sure you check out our other shows from Moot.tv. Let Me Ask You a Question and White Wasabi. They're going to be releasing some new White Wasabi coming out soon. And every Monday, check out the Monday Moot Drop where both our show and Let Me Ask You a Question get dropped.
Wasabi.
As always, we will play you out with our wonderful closing theme song. And we'll see you next week with James. All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Later.
Good day. Good evening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Fuck you!
I puked a little there.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him. We're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will